material cost to the final product is irrelevant. Also, the price point of this sheet of plastic is almost irrelevant.
Hmm.
So it's very difficult. The US market has been attacked a lot of times. Nobody really succeeded in it.
So that's sorry, go on.
So maybe the European market, because you asked what's different. First of all, there is no company like Romacare. The biggest one is Gravograph in France, and they are not a specialized laminate manufacturer. They come from the mechanical engraving side. They just followed with the laser engraving material, and the majority of their turnover comes from machines and not from materials. And everybody else are smaller players in Europe, so the markets are much more fragmented in Europe.
But the competition, I mean, do you have this similar, entry barrier? So if I am a small player in Europe in this space, so does it still hold that my material is specified by the end user? Therefore, it gets very difficult for the sign maker to change, and therefore I am enjoying quite a nice position.
That is true. With one difference is that also the manufacturer's market, or the market of companies that use materials, is much more fragmented than in the US. So there's a lot more people, a lot more companies that use the material with much smaller jobs that they have to do. So it is you cannot really replace a supplier with a single customer, a final customer you have, but you can of course use different suppliers for different of your customers if you use the product and use the laminates to make products. So it is a bit easier in Europe, and also because of the price level has been lower in Europe, historically, and because competition has been higher. It is also less interesting to invest a lot of money in that market to try to gain a lot of market share. From a corporate perspective. So then the market dynamics are slightly different. You don't have a homogeneous European market where an English supplier, delivers into Germany. That hardly ever happens. So the manufacturer of signs in England, labels, does not have German customers. German German companies have German customers, French companies have French customers, and so on. Well, in the US, a company from the West Coast easily ships product and makes products for the Yankee Stadium.
Is there any threat of Chinese suppliers entering either market, or is that not the case? Yeah.
Because of the inferiority of the product, the Chinese have not a relevant impact on any of the Western markets at the moment, anyway.
Just because the product they make in Asia is different from the one that we accept in Europe and in the US.
Yes, and if they wanted to change their production processes, their manufacturing cost would be similar to the one in US and Europe, and therefore, there would be just another competitor with the same issues than anybody else.
So in summary, it's a pretty protected market, at least in the US, slightly less protected and lower price in Europe, but from a market growth standpoint, you see that it's going to be plateauing in the next few years, at least in volume, even as value increases.
Exactly. This is a perfect summary.
That's what I'm paid for, so yes.
Okay.
I think, so I think that's super insightful from that perspective, Oliver. Henrik, again, any more questions?
Yes, so maybe one final question. So we talked a lot about engravables. You also mentioned acrylic sheets. Yeah, there's other technologies for signage. Yeah, for example, self-adhesive vinyls. Yeah, so do you have any insights? I mean, is there a lot of overlap between these technologies, or do they all have different applications and also different sign makers?
I have different applications because the vinyl applications are mainly used for printing, so full color printing. It's a cheap option to print, but it's not a laminated sheet with it's a basic material that needs printing, while the laminate sheet has 2 or 3 layers and already color inside. but there's hardly any overlap